it just checks so many of the boxes that you would want from a sci-fi movie like this that it's impressive they managed to make it all work within the PG-13 rating. Bing bong! I feel like a lot of times these monster-inspired sci-fi movies usually get lumped into the category of guilty pleasure, but Predator Badlands is just straight up really, really good. I'm gonna be completely honest, I think I've been getting a little bit lucky with the Predator franchise, because the first one I ever saw was the one on Hulu a few years ago called Prey, and then I saw the animated one that they made this year as well that was released on Hulu again, and now they finally got a shot back in the theaters. Same guy who made the Prey live action movie on Hulu a few years ago did this one as well, and I'm all in. I don't know what it is about these Predator movies, to be completely honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're very, very well made. They're very enjoyable. Tons of action, good storytelling, but like, I don't know, there's just something about them that I find extremely appealing. Now, full disclosure, like I said, I am a very casual and new fan to this franchise, so everything I say could be completely off of whatever the actual lore is of the franchise that I know has been around for a very long time. So please be patient with me. I'm new here. But this movie is fantastic. I am such a sucker for the Predator gadgets, the different abilities that the Predators have, the different weapons that they use. I find those all very interesting. And I wanted to say this right off the bat because I feel like this sort of thing either doesn't get talked about in a lot of movies. I have to talk about the sound design in this film because there is a lot happening like all the time in this movie, and the sound design for Predator Badlands is so satisfying. It's just really well done. It is a very meticulously made film, and it just checks so many of the boxes that you would want from a sci-fi movie like this that it's impressive they managed to make it all work within the PG-13 rating. Now, I saw the director said the reason he did that with this movie is that his mom is a big fan of the Terminator films, but because the Predator movies are usually rated R, she's never decided to give them a shot to watch any of them. So he wanted to make one that was PG-13 to try to make it more appealing to his mom, which if that is true, I applaud you, sir, because you made a damn good movie, and hopefully Mom actually checks it out, because I think she will be very satisfied with how this movie turned out. And one of the most interesting decisions, the Predator Badlands movie, at least my opinion, since I've only seen a couple of other Predator movies, is that in this film, the Predator is the main character of the movie. I right away found that fascinating. I thought that was so cool. We're speaking a different language. We're following the actual predators this time as opposed to the people that are usually trying to protect themselves from them. And I just thought it was a really interesting switch up of the formula that I've seen so far. And it was really, really well done. I don't know how common this is in the Predator franchise and the history of these movies, but in this film, I watched a Predator go through full character development, an entire character development arc for a sci-fi movie monster, and it was really, really well written. There's a lot of like little story beats that occur in this film that don't necessarily make sense when they're happening, or at least you don't fully understand the context of why they're so important in the moment. And then something happens later in the movie and you're like, oh, that was really well planned out. And again, I think it's one of those just like things that tends to go against a lot of sci-fi movies where they're just seen as silly. And at least when they contain, monsters, fantasy creatures like this one. All of the stuff in this film is really well realized. It's done very intentionally, and it's extremely enjoyable when you see it all pay off throughout the movie. Now, I know that a lot of these fan bases that have been with these franchises for decades, I know they can be very passionate about these movies. But at least in my opinion, I think this is right up there with Prey. I think, Prey was probably considered the best movie in the Predator franchise, honestly, by people who've seen literally all of them. And I think that Predator Badlands is right up there with it, which is incredibly impressive, again, because I wasn't entirely sure that Predator could survive on a PG-13 rating. I thought part of what made it so cool and fun was all of the Mortal Kombat style death sequences in the movies. And while there are definitely some cool ones in this, I wasn't entirely sure they would stack up with other ones I had seen because, PG-13, we know that that's a little bit more tame. And honestly, there were some really cool kill sequences in this movie, particularly one with the Predator's plasma sword where he uses it to just cut straight down the middle of an absolutely gigantic beast on this battle planet that he's on, and it's so satisfying. It's just all, it's very visually appealing. It's all really well done and realized, and it's an incredibly fun ride. So if you're a fan of the Predator movies, I would say give this one a shot. It's really well done, and honestly, even if you've never seen any of the other Predator movies, I will say I think this is something the franchise, at least from the 3 films that I've seen now, is doing really well. Each film feels like it could very well work perfectly fine if it's the first introduction you've ever had to the Predator movies. I think that is no different with Predator Badlands. I feel like they explain enough, not too much where it's like too much exposition, but they handle it in a very smooth way where you feel like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on, and let's see where this adventure goes. Which I think is really cool, because when you have a franchise like Predator that has done, I think, at least 7 or 8 movies at this point, it can be a little bit tricky for newer fans to figure out, like, can I watch this one if I haven't seen the other ones from 20 years ago? And you absolutely can. I've literally only seen 2 other Predator movies, and I'm all in now. I'm excited to see where this franchise is going, especially based on the endings of the last 3 movies, which hopefully at some point we get actual follow-up on any of them. I know this movie did pretty well opening weekend, so hopefully it gets greenlit for some sort of sequel, because it certainly ends with a very interesting event that could lead into a sequel that I would 100% be super into. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out Predator Badlands. It's incredibly fun. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I'll see you guys in the next one.